I don't think there's been a single monument or memorial on the National Mall that was built without some sort of controversy, without some sort of pushback, someone who didn't like the location, didn't like who it was for, didn't like the design of it. And so do you have an example of another one, other than Vietnam or other than World War I that had some controversy around it, maybe one that we think of as being completely uncontroversial like Lincoln or Jefferson?
Yeah, sure. So even the Washington Monument, there's whole books written about the Washington Monument and how long it took. There was a 22-year gap of time where the Washington Monument just stood as this ugly stump. That one took forever, mostly because of funding. They had actually limited donations to the construction of the monument to $1 because they wanted everyone, to be able to participate, which is a nice idea, but they kind of shot themselves in the foot. Then the Civil War happened. A lot of controversy there. But the most sort of poignant story, I think, is when states were donating stones. So the Washington Monument's been closed now since, more or less since 2011.
Yeah, you can go up in an elevator and go to a beautiful observation deck when it's open. That's a big asterisk because it was closed for earthquake damage and now it's closed again for an elevator replacement and repair. But
yeah. They say it's going to reopen in 2020, which means 2030. So you never know. But when you have a chance to go, you go up in the elevator and you see all these stones along the inside. And they were all donated by different states. But there was actually one piece of stone that never made it because it was donated by the Pope. And at the time, there was this political party in power that was really anti-Catholic. And so they didn't want this beautiful piece of Vatican marble installed. And they didn't handle it diplomatically. They waited months and months as this beautiful slab of stone is traveling all across the world. And it's finally sitting on the construction site. And in the middle of the night, these 4 men sneak onto the site, kidnap the guard, smash the stone, and dump it into the Potomac River. So it never makes it. So even though we think of the Washington Monument as being this obvious, pillar to our founding father and giant obelisk on the mall, it also had its long, long history of controversy.
And that long history of controversy is the reason why when you come and you look at it and you say, how did they screw this up, making it 2 different colors of stone?
Yeah.
It's because they started the project and then because of that long, long delay, by the time they went back to finish the project, they didn't have stone from the quarry that matched the color anymore. So we wound up with a kind of an odd looking monument there.
Yeah, I had a kid on my tour the other day tell me we should just paint it, which was charming.
Hey, thanks for listening to this podcast highlight. This is just a small piece of the entire episode. So if you want to hear the whole thing, you can search for Trip Hacks DC in your favorite podcast app. Or head on over to triphacksdc.com/podcast. If you like getting these clips, make sure to subscribe to this channel by clicking or tapping on the Trip Hacks DC logo, which is popping up right now at the bottom of the screen. If you want to watch another clip, go ahead and click or tap up here. Or for Washington, D.C. tips and hacks videos from the main channel, go ahead and click or tap right down here. Enjoy your trip!